Us as pool players, one of the most frustrating things is whenever you show up to a match trying to show up and show out, and you can't make the most simplest shot. Well, guess what? That's because you forgot about your fundamentals. You started letting your stroke get out of whack, and you started getting lazy about your pre-shot routine, and you started getting lazy about finding the line and getting your stance correctly and making sure that you stroke on that line. So today I'm going to show you 8 different drills that will allow you to get your stroke back in line. And if you stick around to the end of the video, make sure you do, because number 8 is the one that really matters and the one that's going to really allow you to win those matches again. So let's get into it. So drill number 1 is what I like to call the straight shot drill. First thing you're going to need is something to mark the table. Either a piece of chalk, these ring binder protectors. I get them on Amazon, Walmart. They got them everywhere. You can order them almost anywhere, and they're very cheap. What you're going to do is mark the pocket. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the object ball pretty close to the pocket that you're going to shoot in, and then you're going to put the cue ball about right there. And there's 3 phases to this drill. What you want to do is you're going to shoot the object ball into the pocket. You're going to follow the cue ball into that pocket. So after you pocket the object ball, you're going to follow it into that pocket. The point of the drill is to keep your cue shooting straight. Now you'll know if you're not pushing the cue straight, because if the cue ball veers left or right and it doesn't hit center of the pocket or doesn't make it at all, then you know that your stroke isn't pushing straight. So here's an example. Get down, center top, stay down, push. So now that you understand how the drill works, what you need to do is, for the first phase of the first drill, is you want to run 15 balls out from this distance. So you know your line. Get down for your shot. Center. Stay down. Push. All right. So once you've done that 15 balls, then it's time to go on to the next phase of the first drill. So now for the second phase of the first drill, we started here with the object ball. Now we move it back. Put the object ball in that ring. Since we started here with the cue ball, we're going to move back with the cue ball. So now the plan is same thing. You're going to shoot the object ball into the pocket while pushing the cue ball in the straight line, allowing you to practice your stroke, pushing the cue ball straight. Find the line. Be lined up straight. Push. That's the second phase. Do that 15 times. Run through a whole set of the balls. Now if you mess up and you veer off to the left or the right, then you start back over with the same phase that you're on. You don't have to start the whole drill completely over unless you want to and you're that dedicated. But if you do miss, if you miss the pocket completely or veer off to the left and the right and you feel like your stroke is off, then start that section over. All right, so now that we finished the second phase, now it's on to the third one. You see we started here with the object ball, move here, now move here. Now you see why these rings are so handy, or marking the table so handy. All right, then we started here with the cue ball, move back here, now move back here. Again, same thing. Shoot the object ball into the pocket while pushing the cue ball behind it and following it through into the pocket. All right, find my line. Straight down. Top. Straight into the pocket. So what that drill does, it allows you to get the fundamentals down of your stroke. Not only are you finding the line, but you're pushing the cue straight. It's allowing you to get the fundamentals of staying down, pushing the cue straight, making sure that you're only hitting top English. Because if I don't hit top English, let's just set this up like this. If I don't hit top English, find top, and I veer off a little, then it's going to go off to the side. It's not going to be center pocket. So for drill number 2, there's a couple of things that you can choose to use. If you have a 20-ounce bottle, if you have a 2-liter bottle, it doesn't matter what kind of bottle it is, just as long as it's the same size of the 20-ounce bottle lid tip. For me, I have this little tool here. I'll show you what it does. What this tool does, or your 20-ounce bottle, it allows you to make sure that you're stroking your cue straight. Because if you don't, you'll push it. Set it back up. What you want to do is set your tip either in the bottle or the tool if you have it and push through. You want to start out slow. Make sure that you're pushing through it, just like you would if you were shooting a cue ball. And as you start realizing that you're stroking straight, you can go faster, faster, and harder, and harder. What that does is it shows you that you're stroking straight. So the third drill, which is one of my personal favorites, is called the stop shot drill. What you're going to do is, once again, just like the first drill, you're going to have something to mark the table. You're going to have the first ball, the object ball, pretty close to the pocket. I would say almost a half a diamond. Then you're going to put the cue ball a little bit past the first diamond, right there. And what you want to do is just do a simple stop shot. What that does is it gauges whether or not you're hitting the cue ball where you mean to hit it. And if you're not, if you're either drawing the cue ball back or it's going left, right, forward, then you know your stroke is not going where it needs to be. It's not in line. So we're going to start with a simple stop shot. And then once you do that 15 times, you run through 15 balls, then you can go on to the second phase. So now that you ran through those 15 balls, what you're going to do is you're going to set up the object ball on the first dot again, about half a diamond. Then you're going to move back. You're going to take the cue ball about the second diamond, wherever you mark the table. And then from there, you're going to do a simple stop shot. Now, you're going to have to hit it a little bit harder than when the cue ball was right here, because it has to keep that backwards momentum. Down, a little bit lower on the cue ball. Just like that. Now, once you run through 15 balls, then you can move on to the next phase. Phase 3 of the stop shot drill. What you're going to do is put the object ball right there. Cue ball about the third diamond out. Once you do a good stop shot, run through 15 balls, then you can move on. Get down. Just like that. So for the fourth drill, what you want to do is you want to set up 7 balls, staggered evenly apart, going across the table. What you're going to do is you're going to find a pocket and you're going to shoot dead center. And when you shoot it, you want to shoot it kind of hard. The reason why I say shoot it kind of hard is because if you don't hit dead center on the object ball, there's a thing called deflection. So if you don't hit dead center, and I hit one side of the object ball, you see I missed. Set it back up. So you want to find center, stay down, stroke. Center, stay down, stroke. Dead center of the pocket. Stroke. Pocket's getting full. Stroke. So once you do that, set it up the opposite way and run it again. Do that 4 times. So the 5th drill is called the mirror drill. What you got to do is set up a mirror opposite of you on the opposite side of the pool table. And what this does, it allows you to visualize yourself and see how you look in your stance in your stroke. It allows you to make sure that your elbow's not out, your elbow's not in, that your elbow is at a 45-degree angle and it's up and you're stroking straight. This gives you the ability to make any changes on what you need to do to make sure that your stance and your stroke is correct. Now, drill number 6. Now, this drill is very important. It's the way that you hold your grip hand, how tight you're holding your cue. Because if you're holding your cue too tight, you're not going to be able to push that cue straight. So what do I mean by that? The way you hold your cue is you want to make sure that your hand is positioned correctly, not back here, not way up here. This is about the sweet spot. Now, whenever I hold my cue, I hold it with these 2 fingers and my thumb right here. I don't need any more than that to be able to control the cue. They say you want to hold it like you're holding a baby bird. You don't want to crush it. All right, so when you set up a shot, or if you're at home practicing on the kitchen table, make sure you're holding the cue soft, not a tight grip. Get down, have that space between your hand and the cue, open, shut, open, shut, open, shut. That will allow you to push the cue straight. The 7th drill is called the cue ball drill. You want to set the cue ball up on the break line between the 2nd diamond and 2nd diamond. What you're going to do is hit it in a straight line. The cue ball is going to go hit the opposite rail, come back and hit your tip. You're going to stay down on your shot, and it's going to hit your tip if you push your cue straight. It's a great drill to practice making sure that you're pushing your cue straight. Went off a little bit. All right, let's do it again. Just like that. Do it one more time. Get down. Straight line. Perfect. You do that over and over, and if your cue ball comes back and hits your tip, then you know you're pushing your cue straight. If it goes to the left or the right, then you need to adjust and practice pushing your cue straight some more. So here it is, guys. Drill number 8. Did you know that 90% of the time, if a player is missing their shot, it's because they're second guessing their shot line and their angle? Well, this drill, what you're going to do is set out just random balls. I just threw some balls out. And what you're going to do is you're going to run through the balls. You're not going to go by suit, by stripes, solids, by numerical order. It doesn't matter what order you run them in. What I want you to do is I want you to find the shot line, get down, and shoot. Don't second guess. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is like this 7. I'm going to find my line. I know where I need to hit the 7 into the pocket. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get down into the shot and just shoot. I'm not going to worry about English. I'm not going to worry about any of that. I'm just going to find my line and make sure that I push it, the cue on that line. So I don't want you to get down and sway one way or the other to compensate for your line. That's how you miss, is you're second guessing your shot line. So if you don't have the correct shot line, say on the 7, I want you to stand back up, find your line again, and then get down and shoot. Now, before we get into this drill, make sure you hit that subscribe button because it really helps my channel. All right, here we go. Find my line. Shoot. Now, if you miss, it's okay. Just keep going. All right. Shoot this 6 ball. Get out of the way. I got to stretch. Line. Shoot. All right. To the 14 ball. find my line, get down, shoot. All right, do the 12 ball next, and then the 4 ball. 12 ball side pocket, find my line, get down, shoot. All right, 4 ball, then the 5 ball, line, get down, shoot. Like I said, guys, if you find your shot and you get down, don't sway one way or the other to try to get on line. Stand back up, get down, and shoot. All right, 2 ball, and then the 9, find my line, we do 9, 10, and then the 3. Find my line, get down, shoot. Too hard. Corner pocket. Screw it. All right. It was a long shot. I should have cut it into that corner pocket. All right. Find my line. Get down. Shoot. Well, there you go, guys. There's 8 stroke drills that if you practice them efficiently, I promise you, you won't have to worry about your stroke failing you, and you won't have to worry about in your next match whether or not you're going to miss simple shots or even hard shots. Your right side of your brain will start knowing when you get down for a shot to not second guess itself and just know what to do. And your left brain won't be worrying you to death whether or not you're going to miss. So make sure you guys subscribe, like, and drop a comment in the comment section. And watch one of these 2 videos. Thank you.